Hi guys, so this is a video about the equation of a circle with center HK. So you should have already looked at circles with center 0, 0. So this formula is for a circle with center 0, 0, but in order to use that formula the center must be 0, 0. So if we look at it on a graph, that's for circles like this where your center is 0, 0. But obviously you could have circles with different centers and loads of them. So you could have a circle with a center that's there, so that's the point -3, 2, so that would be the center, and then you'd have a radius of something around that. Or you could have a circle with center -2, -3, and then your radius would be something else around that. So you can have, this video is about the equations of all of these other circles that aren't 0, 0. So if you look at your log tables on page 19 this time, you've got a equation there called, so it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, and it's so you've got a little section there with circles. So this is these are all the formulae for circles that you need. So x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So that's the equation that we're using for this topic. So equation of a circle with center hk and radius r. The equation of the circle with center hk and radius r is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So we can sub in whatever h, k and r are to form the equation of the circle. So try and just get it into your head that hk, in first circles, hk is always what the center is, so h and k. So if we look at our example down here, find the equation of the circle with center 2 minus 3. So because it has center 2 minus 3, we know the 2 minus 3, we're going to call them h and k. So 2 will be h and minus 3 will be k. And then obviously we know from before that 5 will be radius, so r is the radius. So I'm just going to write down the general equation here that we have, or that we have in our log tables. So x minus h all to be squared plus y minus k to be squared equals r to be squared. So then to get the equation of this circle in this example, all I need to do is put in what h is and what k is and what r is. So I'm going to get x minus, and h is 2, so 2 squared, plus y. Now watch what happens here. I have to do y minus k, so I have to do y minus whatever k is. But k is a minus 3 already here, so k is already minus 3. Therefore I have to do y minus minus 3 squared, and then equals, and then r squared, so it'll be 5 squared because 5 is the radius. So x minus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals, and then 5, I can square 5, so 5 squared is 25. And then what you could do after that is you could multiply out the brackets there, so you could square the brackets out, but that's going to be a lot of extra work. So that's just the answer there. So that's the equation of the circle then. So let's look at the second example. Find the center and the radius of the circle x plus 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 8. So it's like you're given, it's like the opposite of the first example. So it's almost where you're given the answer, you're given what the equation of the circle is, and you're asked to work backwards, and you're asked to find out what is the center and what's the radius. So you're asked to, so more or less you're going to be picking out what is the center and what's the radius here. if I'm to just write the general equation over this one, so then you can kind of pick out what the h is, what the k is, and what the r is. So we know that hk will be the center, and we know that the radius will be the part on the end. But let's just look at the center first. So I know that I can more or less pick out that the h part will be this part in here. So I can see that it's going to be a 3 really. Now just watch this carefully, because in the formula it's x minus h, therefore you're minusing whatever this part is here. So what I'm trying to get at is the center will always be the opposite signs of whatever they are in here. So because it's a plus 3 and then it's a minus 4, you must switch them, so it has to be a minus 3 and a positive 4 because it's x minus. So you imagine if you were putting them into the form, if you were putting them back into the formula, then if you were putting minus 3 into that formula, it would be x minus h, so it would be x minus minus 3, so it would be x plus 3, and that's what we're getting here, so x plus 3. So answer to that would be minus 3, 4. So that's the center. And then r, well, we know that r equals, or sorry, we know that r squared equals 8. So if r squared equals 8, I do the opposite. I do square root of 8. And square root of 8, you can call it 2 root 2. Or you could, if you put it into your calculator, you might be able to write it down as a decimal as well. But 2 root 2, we'll just leave it like that. Or you could leave it as square root of 8 or root 8. So just try and remember that. That's the tricky bit there, is that it'll always be the opposite signs of whatever is in here and in here. So because it's a plus 3 in there, your center is minus 3, and because it's a minus 4 in there, your center is positive 4. So here's 2 questions. So if you just want to pause the video quickly and then try them, and I'll play it on and I'll go through the answer. So first one, find the equation of the circle with center 4 minus 5 and radius 3. So if I write down my general formula again, it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So I know that my center is hk and my radius is r. So x minus, so I'm doing x minus h, and h here is positive 4, so it's just x minus positive 4, so x minus 4 squared plus y minus, and then I must do the minus whatever k is, but k here is a minus 5, so I have to do y minus minus 5, because I'm putting a minus 5 in directly in for that k, so it's y minus minus 5 squared equals r squared. And then I'm running out of space here, but your final part then is you can just change that minus into a plus, because you know that when 2 minuses come together they make a plus. So x minus 4 squared plus y plus 5 squared equals sorry, I never put in the r actually. So the r was sorry, I'll just go back. So that should have been, I should have put in a 3 there. So 3 squared then will be 9. So that's your final answer. Then question 2, if the equation of a circle is x plus 5 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 81, then find the center and the radius. So I'm just writing out the general equation again, and then underneath I'll just write what this one is, just to make it clear. So you don't really need to do this if you understand already. You can just look at the equation, you can almost just pick them out. So I know that HK anyway. So in order to get HK, I have to be looking here and I have to be looking here. But if you think back to the example that I did, it'll be the opposite sign of what those are. So it has to be, because there's an x plus 5 in there, the h then has to be a minus 5. And because the k is a minus 1 in there, the k then has to be a plus 1 or a positive 1. So hk is minus 5, 1, so that's the center. And my radius then, because r squared is 81, so r squared equals 81, then r equals the square root of 81, and we know that the square root of 81 is 9.